with guys that are pretty good at what they do, regardless of where they come from. It doesn't matter. Okay, so the thing with that is that many people come from different backgrounds. Many people have different languages. Some people, even with English, have different accents. Okay, or different terminologies that can throw off a conversation. Okay, so with the toolbox talk that we just went through, everyone's able to use the same terminology. Okay, and that's the big difference, and that's what I wanted to get through to guys, is that common language. So that was Derek. Sorry, that was Romeo that you came in here earlier. Derek Bain is going to continue the class. Teresa Martin is going to be doing the administration. Okay, so I'm very happy that they accepted the proposal for the class for you group of guys, and I do want to ensure that everyone is able to benefit from the class. Now, so you have to remember we are under. Are you guys familiar with OSHA?
Yeah.
Okay. Akeem, couple of guys, some guys are scared. It's nothing deep. Okay? So we are under the Bermuda Occupational Safety and Health Regulations 2009. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that everyone has a copy. If you guys have emails, I can email it to you better. I wasn't able to print it because at work with nothing to do with the class. So anyway, so on page 109, it talks about tower cranes, foundations, shoring, inspection of cranes, and switches and devices, the movement of the boom, the operator's cabin, and so on and so forth. The load block, the tenant crane, and track of. So that information you want to know by heart, right? So I'm going to get you that information however I can, rather it be hard copy or electronically. Okay? I want you to know your rights as an individual. Every employee has the right to stop work if he feels that his or her safety is at risk. Okay, so if you come into a situation that you're not comfortable with, you shut down. Okay, it's as simple as that. Right? I don't know if you guys know, but that during some lifts, some guys were switching operators, and I don't even know who it was. They were trying to describe the guy to me. I never seen him before. And they said all those guys just stopped working. They said he could be in the crane all he wants, but we're not working with him. Okay? And all the employees and the crane operators as well. Okay? They also have that right. Okay? Now, we want to ensure, guys, that we maintain drug and alcohol-free workplace. Okay? No one is trying to judge anybody. That's not the point. But when we show up to work, we want guys to be sober. Okay? That's how we want to maintain our professionalism. Okay? STAR training is STAR stands for Supervisor Training and Accident Reduction Technique for all supervisors. So all supervisors should undergo a training session. Okay? Now, for those, some guys didn't understand. What one, talking about Logan's plane, what one safety meeting number 113 now. So we've been there for about 2 years, over 2 years. Okay, and what we did is that every week in that meeting, we did another chapter of OSHA 30. We started with OSHA 30. Okay, so whatever it was, welding, craning, whatever it was, personal protective equipment, whatever it was, that's what we were talking about in the meeting. And that was those quizzes that we are doing. Okay, we are doing it collectively as a group. Okay, so now I'm an NCCR instructor, but I'm not an OSHA 500 instructor. I can share that information to you, but I cannot issue you a certificate. I'm not taking that course. Okay, but we can do it as a group. Okay, so now, we were running reruns after reruns after reruns. Even I got bored. I was like, look, enough of this. Let's do something else, some fresh topics or something, because it just got like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air after a while. Like, it was like enough. So Now guys are asking, Brandon, how can I get OSHA 30? Like, I was giving it to you all that time, bro. You see what I'm saying? Because we already know it's a requirement. Okay? And it's also a resume builder. Okay, so even if, I mean, you may not, need it per se, but much of it is interesting. You can use it in the future. So all I asked was that guys save that information. I'm not saying you got to stop what you're doing and just pay attention to me and my OSHA 30. That wasn't the point. But I wanted to share that information with you guys because I knew that was going to come back up at some point in time. Right? So that was the whole point. So I want guys to understand why we do what we do when we do. Okay? Safety meetings are mandatory, and again, supervisors are responsible for poor performance. So your supervisor or your safety representative, whomever he may select, is responsible to liaise any information you guys might have had or may have, or receive any educational information for his guys. Okay, it doesn't have to be the same person per se. You can send somebody. You can send a bad actor. It doesn't matter. Okay. As long as it's someone who can say, in that meeting, this here is what we guys are talking about. Or I told those guys that we guys need toilet paper in our bathroom. It don't matter, right? That's the point. So that everyone on site is accountable. Okay, so that's what we're trying to achieve. All right, orientations. This is pretty much orientation. In terms, you may run into things that you may not necessarily be involved in. But again, it is important that you are familiar with those things that are going on around you. Okay. One of the major problems at the hospital is that it was so congested. We had 700 guys, and that was just a 40 by 40. Okay. So an electrician will come to work to do his electrical work. Right? I'm an electrician, that's what I do. Right? Make sure this power is on. And right next to him is a guy that's sanding drywall, and the electrician didn't show up with a respirator and everything else, and it's like, I cannot work. You see what I'm saying? So that was a coordination issue, and that's where communication is beneficial. Okay? So I want guys to understand, there are avenues that you can choose in order to get whatever it is that you need done, and you do have the right to refuse to do work if your safety is put in jeopardy. Okay. Daily crew and hold sheet depends on where you come from. The English call it a plant return. Canadians call it a pre-job hazard assessment. The Americans call it a huddle. Whatever it is, whomever it is in your crew, you should know that they're in your team. Okay. And I could care less if you're going to bathroom or you're going to see a girl. Just let somebody know you're not on site. That's all I ask. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting into nobody's business. But at the same time, you want to know who's here and who's not here. Okay? Any questions, comments, queries?
Comments, everyone that's working on the site has the right to stop an operator, crane operator, payload operator. Everyone has the right to see something's not right. Like for instance, the other day, 2 greenhorns came when they drove first day at work. There was fireproofing, and they had one of those lifts, 2-man lifts. I mean, the guy was bigger than me, and they do have capacities on them, 500 pounds. Mm-hmm. And he also had the machine turned the wrong way, whereas it could have easily tipped up, and he had it all the way up. And he was wondering why I was stopping. I said, hey. I got out of my machine and stopped what I was doing to stop him from hurting himself. Right. So bring the machine back down, turn it the right way, and there should only be 1 of you in there, not 2, because it was only a small lift. So everybody has the right to stop somebody if they see something's not safe.
No, that's a very good point. And people should also exercise their right more in terms of health and safety before something goes wrong in the first place. Okay? Now, there are cultural expectations. Every single body that comes to work is expected to be trained somehow, someway, from somewhere. Okay? Rather it be college education, rather it be a 5-minute toolbox talk on the side of a hill, it doesn't matter. Okay? As long as you have within your mind general understanding of what's going on around you. Now, I am ever gonna say there is a problem with Bermuda coast. Okay, I work with you guys far too long, and I've been on way too many projects. Now, the skill level of you guys is equal to, or in some cases better than, many of the overseas workers that may do your jobs. Okay? And I have no problem saying that. The difference is we don't have strength in numbers. So if we don't have a Omar, if Omar says, I don't want to drive crane no more, guys are scrambling. I was scrambling right now to try to find somebody.
He left me up there, you know what I mean? That's my mate.
Right, and that's the case. Now, Omar's very good at what he does. Okay? No one's complaining, no complaints at all. Okay? He's not in the crane at the moment. And it's difficult to find another Omar.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, that's the thing about Bermuda, is that you can't just put another person in another person's place and think that they're going to have that same skill level as the original person. Okay, because we don't have a large population. We don't have many people. It's just as simple as that. Okay, what? I do want you guys to, one, present yourselves in a professional manner. Okay, and I'm going to get into that. Now, personal protective equipment, I brought it up. Okay, hard hats, safety glasses. I'm starting to get used to it now. Yesterday is my job, but you know what? Even when I'm working around the house, I find myself looking. I swear to God. Let me tell you, I think it was like, must have been a hurricane or something was coming, and I was getting some foam work going to board up the walls. And I had my sneakers on, and I went to rest the plywood on, I was going to drop it on my foot. You know, and catch it like the football, you know what I mean? Just slid down, and bam, it hit my toe, and I said, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no boots on right now. What would make me think that? But because I was so used to doing it at work, and then when I got home, I was still in that mood, but I didn't have the gear, and nobody said, hey, Brandon, you know, before you go do that carpentry, put on your boots. It wasn't that. But when I'm cutting trees and stuff like that, right? People gonna get something in my eye, so look, why don't I just put on some safety glasses or shades or anything, right? So I'm actually changing my behavior, not just for the job, but to protect myself. Now, the other thing I want to bring up is high visibility clothing while we're on the topic. I've got a better picture, I don't know where it is. So, the shirts, I don't have it, I can't find it fast enough, so let's just get through it. So, the vests and the shirts, the guys that complain about people not wearing vests and shirts is actually you guys. Those are the calls I get from machine operators. Okay, it ain't an estimator sitting in the office. It's not a manager sitting in a meeting talking about how come that guy ain't got no shirt. It's the machine operators. Okay, your peripheral view. Okay, so if you got a load, or actually I do have it. Alright, so this is the picture. I don't have, maybe you could dim the lights, I don't know. I wanted to get this point. I wanted to make this point clear for what we do. So this is actually a all hands meeting, okay? And you see different guys have different types of shirts. Actually, that's Joey there. Okay? So what companies do is they buy their guys work shirts, and then you gotta, I didn't even know that word. I didn't even, and then they buy the guys work shirts, and then you go and put a vest over it. So who you work for now? So I said, you know, why don't you buy your guys company shirts out of the safety colors, two birds, one stone. You can advertise your company and you can just, so with the summer coming, that's why I like the t-shirts. You only need a reflective strip if you're going to be working at night. Otherwise, it's useless. Now, if you guys were driving crane and you had to drop a load right in the middle of this group, and one guy's running around with an army outfit, you're going to get annoyed, right? Because you can't see as clearly what's going on. So I find that once guys understand the point of what they're doing, it makes it a whole lot easier to do. Now the long pants, I'm not a fan of. I'm not gonna. I got sent to him because I was kept on wearing shorts, basically. And I had to humble myself and say I'm not the boss. But here's what it is. Nobody's exempt. Okay. And steel toe boots, I think I gave you guys a good example of that already. Now, this is where I want to get to you guys specifically in terms of safety glasses. Okay? So if you're in a machine, whatever the case may be, and you're within a closed, you got your doors closed, you got your shield on, technically you guys don't need glasses. It's okay, double protection. But if your shield is open, your door is open, etc., then flying objects can occur. Right, that's what I'm saying. No, I don't mind shades or prescription glasses, I really don't. But I cannot say that they are safety approved because they're not made to take impact. Okay? So, sorry, I jumped too fast. Anyway, now, we plan safety into the workplace process, meaning safety is put in place to make money. I want you guys to understand that one. I don't want you guys to think that safety is a ball and chain you're dragging around, or this guy's coming to get on my nerves, so I don't want to hear about it. It's not. And actually, I try not to impede progress. If you guys are doing good, that's great, right? But I want everyone under the same understanding. So the best example I like to use is TCB. I had to take my car TCB, I didn't like it. Right? I didn't like the feel. I didn't like all the stuff they found under my engine. Right? But now it's done. I probably would not have got it done if somebody didn't make me do it. You know what I mean? But now I'm got all my lights work, all my brakes work, all my tires are rotated. Rust has been done. Everything's been taken care of. Okay? And now I can just drive without any problem getting back and forth to where I'm supposed to be making money in the first place. Okay? So, back to the original point, supervisors are accountable for crew performance. We want to ensure that all the information is filtered down, right down to the individual. Okay? To the operators, to the riggers, to right down to anybody on the site. Okay? And that's where I find that we have problems. Guys will sit off in a meeting, you'll have a regular meeting, have a lift plan, have an activity hazard analysis, have everything put together. The guys on site don't know nothing about it. And that's why I have a problem. I think that every single body involved in that lift knows exactly what's going on. How many tons it is, your radius, what time you're going to make it there, stable ground, etc., etc. I ain't got no problem with the well, I don't want to say arguments, but I want everybody to have a say. You never know, who's going to point out something that someone else might have overlooked. And again, incident reporting. Okay. It's actually worse not to make a report than it is to make a report. Okay, if you see something that's unsafe, let somebody know. Joey Money said, what was your slogan? If you see something, say something, or something. It was a pretty good slogan, that was pretty good.
Great move.
Alright, so there's a disciplinary program, companies get red flags, workers get 3 strikes. But I'd like to focus on positivity, positive recognition. Okay? So that's why guys give away pizzas and t-shirts, whatever, I don't care. Right? You want to focus on those guys that inspire others. You don't need to be a supervisor or a superintendent or foreman to be a leader. You could be a leader doing exactly what you're doing by inspiring others to do that as well. Emergency response should be well known. Every job should update first aid CPR, fire extinguisher locations, have a fire drill, and wherever your closest medical facility is. When things happen, you don't have time to be asking questions. You just need to do what you got to do and let that be that. Alright, now this is what we want to achieve. Okay, so this is why we're here. Okay, so like I said, we don't have this class on a regular basis. I don't know when we're going to have another class. If we can generate enough support, but at the end of the day, I want every single one of you to be certified. As crane operators, riggers, competent persons, qualified persons, and authorized persons. Okay. So after this class, you guys will all have a certificate from Bermuda College as well as a walking card. Okay, and that you can take and use locally and internationally. Okay, so you guys have your books. So this is what you guys are going to be. This is the course material. So it's called OSHA Academy, 820. Now the first module or chapter or whatever it is, referred to it as, deals with types of cranes. So we have hydraulic cranes, we have pneumatic cranes. You also have tall cranes, mobile cranes, and specialized cranes. Some of the benefits, what would you say the benefits of the tall cranes will be versus the other cranes?
Vision.
Okay, good.
Height.
See everything?
Height.
Height, good. What else? Space. What else you guys could think of?
Reach.
And also stability. Now, we don't have any mobile cranes, I'm sorry, tall cranes at Morgan Spring. Because when I asked the question the first time, they said it was too many little buildings. And so the benefit of the mobile crane is that you can set up in small spaces. And it's also, it's a quick setup time. Okay, so that's why for that type of project, this is the type of crane that they use. Okay, so I just threw this into the precast woes that come in. They have a different type of system as well. Okay, chapter 2 is talking about employee and employer responsibilities. Now, employers are expected to perform and produce training programs. Okay, that was one of the things that I signed up to when I started the job. Okay. I agreed that I would coordinate safety classes for all the workers, all the trades on the site. Okay. And I have no problem doing that, whether I got support or not. Okay, that's. Okay. Now, I already know you guys' caliber, worked with you guys for many years, and I want you guys to have positive recognition for the level of skill that you guys actually have. Okay, okay. So thirdly, in the book you're going to be dealing with ground conditions. Labeled as ground conditions, but I wanted to also highlight mobilization, demobilization, preventive maintenance, lift plans, and stabilities. Now, Max brought up a good point. He was making a lift and it was raining. And while it was raining, that rain was washing away the field that those guys had set up, and realized the crane started to sway a little bit. So Max shut down the operation. He got to the ground. He waited until someone came and compacted the ground, and then they ran ahead and ran again. And that was very, very smart. Okay? Rather than keep on, remember, the boys are just going to want to push you. Yeah, another one, faster, quicker. Right? Let's have it. Y'all got to say, no. Sort out the ground. It needs to be rolled. It needs to be compacted. And then you will all continue.
You said Max?
Correct.
Max, yeah.
But that was
How many
me.
Maxes you know?
No, that was the
Yeah, that
other
was the other day when you dropped the
Graham, and
box
that's
down
5
from-
degrees out of
when I
that.
was in the box.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
That crane can go 5 degrees like that.
It's the best of what he does. Okay, so the other thing, and the fourth chapter is power line safety. Okay. So you have to be at least 10 feet away from any power lines. And that's 50 kV. Anything above that, you want to be further and further away. Okay. So in that case, if you have to work around power lines, you should automatically be either with the rigger only or observer or signal man or whatever it is you want to call it, depending on what it is you want to do. And then when I talk about traveling underneath, especially when you guys are driving on the road, I've seen some, not bad, but it looks real close between the boom and the
Power lines is not the
And
problem.
sometimes I'm thinking, what is it, the
Power lines are
telephone?
not the problem. It's
Telephone, right, the
cable,
telephone
vision, all them are
line.
down.
But at the same time, you don't want to get tangled anyway. Okay, so that's also right.
Power
all the
lines,
woods.
why is one?
It's
Pardon?
just bad.
Say again?
It's still just as bad.
Everything is easy. My day, these were commercial green, everything was from the back.
Okay.
70, 80 feet, good, 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 good. Huh? You know what day everybody does?
Alright, so inspections, everybody has a check sheet. Okay, so I pulled a generic one. Okay, so also, obviously, the check sheet would have to be specific for the type of crane that you have, and also the actual work that you're doing. So this is a more popular one.